All right, let's talk about tax scammers down in Texas, y'all. I was reading a major case from the Department of Justice about a tax preparer who got locked up down in Texas for doing some unscrupulous, crazy tax scams. But like I tell y'all all the time, it happens all the time when we see people want to just do things to get money, just to make money, and it ended out bad. But I wanted to go over this case with y'all because tax season is starting. And so tax season is starting. So I want y'all to be on the lookout for all of the scammers and all the crazy people out here who will take your dollar and won't think twice about it. All right, so let's go get into this case real quick. Now today, I want y'all to be a little bit patient with me. Have a little grace, y'all. I am live streaming on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. So bear with me, y'all. I'm just testing something out. But I thought it'd be really, really good because people need to know this information. People need to know this information because, again, tax season is getting going. And a lot of people don't have a clue just how crazy it is during tax season and throughout the year. All right, but listen, if y'all don't know me, y'all have never been here on this stream. I'm Kamari Ellis. I'm the Finance Rebel. I am all over the place. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, the podcast, or Facebook, anywhere I'm at under the Finance Rebel. Again, Kamari Ellis, over 30 years experience as a tax accountant. And I love to help y'all to how to use taxes and money to best create your own wealthy legacy, to say. All right. So, all right. So I was sharing with you all the case paperwork about this. Let me put this back up on the screen so everybody can see it real quick. All right. So Mansfield charged in fraudulent tax return scheme. All right. So again, y'all know I talk about these pretty often. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I talk about schemers all the time, just to help y'all and make y'all aware of what's really going on out here. And so give me a chance to go down here. All right, so this happened on January 10th. So here, a Mansfield man has been charged with 33 counts of filing fraudulent tax returns. Now, this was announced by the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. All right, so my hope is by the time we go through this, you'll be able to understand what is and what is not a good thing to do when it comes to dealing with tax preparers and tax scammers. All right, hopefully you can avoid tax scammers. All right, so let's go back to that. All righty, so like I said, a Mansfield man down in Texas, his name is John Anthony Castro. He's 40. He's been indicted on 33 counts of aiding and assisting in preparation and presentation of a false and fraudulent return. He made his initial appearance Tuesday after the magistrate, they went to court. I'm on mute. Why am I on mute? Oh boy. That's crazy. All righty, let's try this again. Let's see here. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? I'm saying somebody said I am on mute. That's what I get for trying to live stream in too many places. All right, Don Johnson, I see you're here. Let me know. You said I'm on mute. Let me know if I'm on mute. Yep, how am I on mute? That's crazy. My mic's on. Well, I guess we will have to start this over again. Can any of you hear that? Oh, you can hear me now, Don. Okay. All right, Teresa says she can hear me. All right. False alarm. All right, back to business as usual. All right, so let's get back to the scammer in Texas. All right, so. Oh, that was you. Okay, come on, Don. All right, shout out to my people on Instagram that are here. I see a bunch of you all here. All right, Anthony, about that wallet says the whole time we heard you. Okay. All right, Don, you threw a false alarm on me, man. But listen, like I said, I am looking to broadcast on multiple platforms: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We all over the place, baby. We worldwide. All right, but let's get back We got the king of the scammer discovery right here. Shout out to Pocket Watching with JT, who's taking the internet by storm and exposing a lot of scammers, y'all. So shout out to JT. All right, but let's get back to this. All right. So Texas man in Mansfield, Texas. Now, Mansfield, Texas is about 3 hours north of Houston. Okay. So just to give y'all a little place mark there. All right. So Mr. Castro's alleged crimes are stunning in their brazenness. That's what the U.S. attorney said. The Department of Justice will continue to hold people accountable who steal from the federal government and the American public's pockets. All right, so I keep telling y'all, it's not a game out here, y'all. Like y'all want to deal with these tax preparers and tax accountants that work in the back of gas stations. Well, guess what? The more you do that, the more you put yourself in harm's way, because the IRS they're not playing anymore. They got a big infusion from Congress not too long ago, about $80 billion now. The Republicans have taken back some of that money, but they got more than what they had. And so they were hamstringed for a long time. So they couldn't get after a lot of the tax sheets the way that they would like to. But now there's a new sheriff in town. So they're getting busy. All right. So let's get back to this. All righty. So according to the indictment, Mr. Castro owned and operated Castro and Company, LLC, a virtual tax preparation business with locations in Orlando, Florida, Mansfield, Texas, and Washington, D.C. Now, does anybody see anything weird here? It's a virtual tax preparation business. By the way, I have a virtual tax preparation business. I am everywhere. Anywhere the internet is, I am there. But he has offices in Orlando, Florida, Mansfield, Texas, and Washington, D.C. since 2016. That seems kind of odd. What do y'all think? Is it, or is it just me? All right. Mr. Castro devised a scheme to falsely create and submit false tax returns on behalf of unsuspecting taxpayers. Taxpayers will seek out Castro's assistance in filing personal tax returns, and Mr. Castro would promise a significantly higher refund than taxpayers could receive from other preparers, and on many occasions offer to split the additional refund with taxpayers. All right. Major red flag there, y'all. Major red flag there. All right. So again, I mentioned Pocket Watching with JT. So Pocket Watching with JT, myself, Kamari Ellis, we are enrolled agents. We have P10s. What's a P10? That's a license, or excuse me, a number, a professional tax preparer information number given by the IRS. And the IRS strictly prohibits us from charging a fee that allows us to take advantage of your refund. So our fee should not be determined by your refund. Nobody's fee should be determined by the amount of your refund. Anytime you see somebody talking about, we're going to charge you a fee based on your refund amount, run quickly. All right. Because that's bad. That's bad business. It's illegal. And if you don't want to be caught up in these shenanigans, you'd be best advised to walk away quickly. All right. So getting back to the story. During a recorded telephone conversation, Mr. Castro stated that he could project the amount of the tax refund the undercover agent would likely receive from, so it's an undercover agent here. So the IRS will come out and they will come and see what you're up to. They will investigate you. They will secret shop you, and you won't even know it. So that's why it's important to do the right thing at all times. All right. Integrity isn't about doing the right thing when you're being watched. It's about doing the right thing all the time. And when you do the right thing all the time, you don't really have much to worry about. All right. Okay. So he was being investigated. He came in. Let me back up. I jumped ahead of y'all. Excuse me. In 2018, an undercover agent posing as a taxpayer contacted Castro and Company, LLC, for assistance. Castro refused to meet in person unless A $5,000 retainer was paid, but offered to assist the undercover agent virtually. That's a bit steep. $5 grand. $5 grand is a bit steep for a retainer, right? I get charging. I charge sometimes to meet with people just to ask me questions for a consult, but not $5,000. That seems a bit egregious. So keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind. Don't just pay people just for the sake of paying people. All right. So again, going back over this again, during a recorded telephone conversation, Mr. Castro stated that he could project. No tax accountant can project what a refund is until they do the refund. But just keep that in the back of your mind, y'all. So Mr. Castro stated that he could project the amount of the tax refund the undercover officer would likely receive from another firm and then compare the figures with the refund that Mr. Castro would obtain. According to the indictment, an employee of Mr. Castro's interviewed the agent over the telephone regarding the deductions. The employee stated that Mr. Castro would make any decisions regarding what items would be included on the tax return. Another big, whopping, big old red flag. All right. You want to make sure that the deductions that your tax professional is listing on your return are things that you have provided them, whether through a profit and loss statement, whether through a balance sheet, whether through a mortgage statement, whether through a W-2, whether through a 1099. You don't want them to dream up numbers. Again, dreaming up numbers is bad, y'all. That's not a good thing at all. All right, so going back to this. All right. So going back to this. Give me 1 second, y'all. Mr. Castro will make any decisions regarding what items will be included on the tax return. The employee did not identify any deductions that would apply to the agent. And in the course of the interview, the undercover agent denied any facts that would support deductions. Denied any facts that would support deductions. So that means he just made them up. He dreamt. I'm thinking about a Christopher Williams song, If I'm Dreaming. So he dreamt those up and he just put them on the tax return. Again, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Again, I'm not reading this from something I just found. This is from the Department of Justice, y'all. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right, the undercover agent denied any facts that would support deductions. On March 14th, 2018, Mr. Castro filed the agent's tax returns claiming, hear this now, claiming $29,339 in deductions. How many of y'all have ever really looked at your deductions? Now, it's possible you could have 29,000 of deductions or 30,000 of deductions. I have clients that have that much. And if they don't have a business, they might have a home or they have a large home. They're paying mortgage interest. On that mortgage interest, they might have real estate tax. They might also be really, really good people of great hearts who give to the church or mosque or synagogue or to some civic organization, some charitable organization. But I have a feeling that that's not the case here. All right. So again, Mr. Castro filed the agent's tax return claiming $29,339 in fraudulent deductions. Fraudulent. So again, they're all made up. The IRS issued a refund of $6,007. Mr. Castro received $2,999 for his services. Remember, I told y'all tax refunds should not determine the amount of the tax professional's fee. Remember that, y'all. And the agent received the remaining amount of $3,008. So the agent, remember, that's the quote unquote taxpayer. As Castro told the taxpayer, he would have received only a $300 deduction had he used another tax preparer. Probably another tax preparer who's actually following the law and doing the return in a lawful and ethical manner. Mr. Castro didn't do it that way. Mr. Castro continued in a similar pattern with dozens of other taxpayers, resulting in hundreds of thousands of improperly paid claims. So that means he filed hundreds of thousands of other tax returns. All right. An indictment is merely allegation to following, excuse me, an indictment is merely an allegation of criminal conduct, not evidence. Mr. Castro is presumed innocent until proven guilty in court of law. Listen, that is important. All right. If convicted, on all counts, he faces up to 99 years in federal prison, 3 years for each count. So again, for all of this, a couple of $1,000s, right? They filed $29,000, almost $30,000 in deductions. That resulted in a tax refund. What was it? A little over $6,000, $6,007. Excuse me, $6,007. Is that really worth it? If it worth the headache? Now, the taxpayer, he's not really professional. He's going to jail. He's facing 99 years. Excuse me, potentially, because he hasn't been convicted yet. So he's potentially going to jail. You know, a lot of times people don't understand how this is supposed to work because I'm a tax professional. I'm an enrolled agent. So that means I am licensed with the Department of Treasury. And guess what? The Department of Treasury oversees the IRS, or the Internal Revenue Service. And so they hold me to a duty that's higher than your average person, again, who works out of the back of a gas station. So keep that in mind. But it's not worth it for me to go to jail. I think I look good in orange with my skin tone, but I don't look good in orange federally issued prison suits. So for me, I'm not really willing to take those kind of risks. It's not worth it. And furthermore, I tell people all the time, people that look like me are targeted to be put behind bars all the time. I don't need to give them an excuse. I don't need to give them an excuse at all. So I like to keep my nose clean. I like to do everything legally. I actually get teased by that. I don't even like watching bootleg videos because it's illegal. I know a lot of people think it's cool, it's okay. It's a victimless crime or a crime that doesn't hurt anybody, but I don't even want to do any of that. So I like to keep it straight laced without any problems, y'all. But not only is it a problem for the tax preparer, best believe that the FBI went and questioned all of those clients of his. So all of those clients of his were more than likely questioned. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them were questioned. And I'll tell you about a story real quick. I had some clients several years ago who worked for, I'll just say, law enforcement. And they would go to a tax professional preparer who would give people bigger refunds. Now, I just told you a couple of minutes ago, you can't really, no real tax accountant is going to give you a promise to say, we're going to get you a super big tax refund. Only the big box shops that do that, and they do it in a broad sweeping way when they do it. But even that really isn't right. It's not really ethical, but they do it. They do it. But no real tax professional is going to say, I can get you $5,000. I can get you $10,000. I can get you $20,000. Nobody's going to do that because here's the thing. You have to go through all the numbers, all the deductions, all the income, all the assets, if there are assets, to truly see what your return looks like. And so again, it's not good practice to kind of promise people these big whopping tax refunds. All right. And so what happened when these people, these old clients of mine, went to this tax pro, I keep calling them tax pro, they're not really a tax pro, just say tax preparer. Well, they wound up getting audited. The IRS will perform audits on tax preparers randomly sometimes if they'll see a pattern. And what happened was some of them were doing some not so cool stuff, and some of them were squeaky clean. Guess what happened? They audited a bunch of their clients. Because what the IRS will do is they'll come out, they'll say, hey, you tax preparer, we're noticing some weird patterns. Let's randomly pull some of your clients. Let's look at their returns. And so they will go and look at the returns. I don't know if y'all follow me on Instagram or not. I recently released a video where I talked about tax audits. And I talked about how the IRS auditors were comb through your ass hairs with a fine tooth comb. I can't believe I even said that, but that's what I said, and that's what they do. If you've ever worked through an audit, they want to know, how did you come up with these claims? How did you come up with these deductions? If you go to a church, right? Let's say you gave the church a car, one of your used cars. Well, how did you determine the value for that car? A lot of times people will just make up a number. But then IRS is going to come back and say, they're going to say, hey, how did you come up with that value? Did you go to Kelly Blue Book? Was it sold? Was it auctioned off? What was the rationale to support this deduction? And so again, it's not this pie in the sky, this dream of numbers type thing. It is based on math, accounting, and science. But a lot of times when it comes to tax season and tax time, people panic. People panic because they weren't prepared. They were not doing good record keeping throughout the year. They were not doing any QuickBooks or Excel or anything like that. If you're a business owner, right? They don't have the W-2s or any of the other tax forms and documents you're supposed to have. They'll just say, hey, here, take that. Figure out the tax return for me. Well, that got them in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. And some of the clients that left me, they came back. And that taught me a great lesson. While yes, it hurts to lose income. I got babies, y'all. I got kids in college. But what's going to cost me more in the long run? Me paying lawyers? me paying off other stuff, whatever it's going to cost for the whole process? Or just missing out on the money that they won't pay me for? I get it. It hurts, but I get over it real quick as I think about the big picture. And the big picture is, like I said, I don't look good in federally issued orange jumpsuits. And for the record, just because you're doing Fed time does not mean it's at a camp or minimum security. Sometimes you can wind up in Fed maximum security, which is the worst way to go. All right. So this guy is going to be in trouble for a long time. And listen, I can do a show every day of the week just talking about tax preparers who go to jail because they did a fraudulent tax return. I mean, if you go back through my YouTube catalog, there's several. I talk about them a lot. And I talk about them a lot in the hopes that many of you will learn to say, hey, I need to do everything by the book. I can avoid trouble. I mean, if any of y'all look at all the PPP stuff, right? Well, a lot of that would have been solved had people just done proper bookkeeping and not lied on their taxes. But we get this big allure of, oh, I can get some money. There's a bag out there for me. And then they do anything to get it. Damn the risk. Damn if it's right. Damn if it's wrong. They just want to get it. And you see it all the time. They're still going after folks. Now, the latest thing people are going after, and what's crazy is the IRS is giving them a little grace, but the latest thing people are going after is ERC, employee retention credit. So the employee retention credit was something that the IRS was giving to people during COVID, during the pandemic, when Congress was trying to keep the economy afloat. And so they gave taxpayers a big credit to keep people employed, right? Because a lot of people were losing their jobs during the pandemic. A lot of people didn't know what the hell was going to go on. And so they said, you know what, this is something we can do to help the American people. And a lot of people took advantage of it. So much so that you have all these quote unquote salespeople who never done taxes a day in their life. For the record, there's different types of taxes, right? There's payroll taxes, there's sales tax, there's income tax, there's estate tax. But all these people just decided to do these employee retention credit returns where they amend the payroll tax, resubmit it, and apply for this credit. But none of them have done this. They just said, oh, it's an opportunity. Let's get on it. And guess what? A lot of these people didn't have any employees in the first place, and they just made up numbers. So it's so bad that the IRS said, you know what? We're going to give these folks a chance to get over this and withdraw their credit for their application because we don't want to be boggled down in the litigation. Let me see. I'm going to find it. Let's see. Let's see here. So I can, here it is. Give me 1 second, y'all. I've never seen this before a day in my life. And like I said, I've been in the business almost 30 years. And you're like, he's so young. He's so young. How can he do this? I started with my dad. He made me go to his job after school. So looking at this, right? Withdraw an employee retention claim or employee retention credit claim. That's never happened before. Never. But the IRS, Department of Justice were like, listen, we got all these people we're still chasing down for PPP. This is going to cause another fraud situation, and it's going to make people go crazy. And go crazy they did. So they said, you know what? Withdraw this so we do not have to prosecute you. Withdraw this. So like it says, if you file the claim requesting a refund from an employee retention credit, ERC or ERTC, and would now like to withdraw your claim, this page will tell you whether you can do so or how to withdraw your claim. When does the government ever tell you to do something like this? Y'all know employee workers don't even want to work overtime. So withdraw something you already did? The withdrawal process is for taxpayers whose ERC has not been paid yet, right? If you ain't got the money, the crime hasn't technically been finalized. I won't say it's not been committed, because anytime you file a fraudulent document to any federal, state, local entity, government, it's a crime. All right. The withdrawal process is for taxpayers whose ERC has not been paid yet, or those who received a check but have not cashed or deposited yet. If you request to withdraw your claim, you'll be asking the IRS not to process your entire adjusted employment tax return. So again, this has been so crazy. It's been so crazy. They're like, all right, hold up, pump the brakes. All you schemers and scammers, we're going to help y'all out. Y'all don't even know y'all need help, but we're going to help you out. We're going to look you out real quick. Withdraw those applications. And sadly, a lot of the people who withdrew the applications, or I shouldn't say that, a lot of people that filed the applications were just told that, hey, you can get $32,000. Not that, hey, we're applying for $32,000 and you don't have any employees. You really don't qualify for this, because it's a real thing. If you had employees, if it was during COVID and you paid them, you potentially do qualify for this credit. Sadly, a lot of people didn't have that. And so then they lied. So again, it gets crazy. It gets crazy. All right. So I'm not going to keep you long. It's Friday night, but I wanted to talk to you about that. I wanted to talk to you all about that. So keep in mind, listen, when you're hiring a tax preparer, make sure they have a PTIN, PITIN, PTIN, right? PTIN. That tells them that tells the IRS that, hey, they applied for their PTIN. They are getting paid for preparing tax returns. and they are registered in the IRS database. Now, a lot of times people will not register in the IRS database, and they'll just have you pay them under the table, so to speak, because they don't want to have any record of it. Because they're not a real tax fraud for the most part, right? You have to report it if this is what you're doing. You have to report it. So again, make sure the person will do that, because there's an issue with this. They're called ghost preparers, people who will not get a PTIN number. Again, PTIN. They will not get a PTIN number. They will go to somebody's platform. They'll file the tax return as it's yours. They won't sign it, but they'll charge you for it. That's illegal. So be careful about that. Don't deal with people who will do that, because they're saying that, hey, I don't want to be accountable for this work that I'm doing. And I can't tell you how many times a year people will come to me and say, hey, I filed a return on TurboTax. Matter of fact, a buddy of mine just hit me on TurboTax. And one, I can't figure it out, or two, I made a mistake. And I can't even begin to imagine how many people actually submit it and don't know what the hell they done did. So if you don't understand it, you don't know what you did, and you can't afford to pay somebody to do it, there is a program that the IRS funds every year. It's called VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. And so if you are low income and you can't afford to do it, pay somebody to do your tax returns, just look up VITA. Look up IRS VITA, just Google it. There's one in every major city. And if you are beneath the income threshold, I want to say the income threshold is either 70,000 or 50,000. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can get your taxes done for free. You don't have to go see a reputable guy like me. All right. That's one thing. Two, you want to factor in how long they've been doing this thing. Are they serious about it? Is it just a hobby for them? Is it just a hustle for them? Now, listen, we all have to start somewhere, right? So this is no knock on people who are just getting started out. But do you want to just vicariously, willy-nilly, just turn over your confidential tax documents, financial documents to somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing? So really find somebody who's experienced, and then see what other people are saying about them. Are they advertising these special loans to get all your money back throughout the year or before the tax return comes? Are they telling you to use your last pay stub to do your tax return? Quick secret. You should never use your last pay stub. Excuse me, let me say that again. You should never use your last pay stub to file your tax return. Never. There's many reasons for that. One is, oftentimes your last pay stub does not match your W-2. And so if you use your last pay stub to file your tax return and they don't match, you'll get an IRS letter after you filed your return, and they'll let you know that income is missing or something else is going on. So again, don't use your last pay stub. Don't deal with people that will use your last pay stub. You only want to deal with people who want to follow the law. You only want to deal with people who want to follow IRS tax code. And I know there's a running joke going around saying, I want an accountant who's willing to risk their lives and go to jail to do their taxes to get them a little bit of spare change. I mean, I know it's a joke. But the crazy thing is people that really think like this. So again, I'm not your guy for that. Don't go that route, y'all. I don't want you to go that route. I don't want that for you. Listen, dealing with them people, alphabet people, is a pain in the ass. I don't want that for anybody. It's not worth it. I guess the older I get, the more peace I want. I want that Zen lifestyle. You know, everybody's talking about that soft life. I want that Zen life. I don't want no problems. But again, a lot of people don't really care about that. They don't really care about running into problems with the law. Not me. I guess I'm a punk. I'm okay with that. All right. So let's see what some people saying. All right, about that while it came through. He was over on the IG, switched over to the YouTube channel. Thank you for that, Anthony. Everybody go follow Anthony. He has a great YouTube channel. He does a lot of book reviews and a lot of interviews. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Make sure you like, comment, share if this was of any value to you all. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, okay? Let's see here. So Anthony laughed at Buddy Ears. All right. Maddox 12, welcome. How are you? I would like to interview you on right off. Sure, anytime. Just shoot me a DM, shoot me a do I have one of my emails up here? Just shoot me an email at kamari@phillytaxteam.com. That's fine. Oh, my man. JT, when are we going to do a show together, man? By the way, thank you. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you. All righty. Thank you. All right. Mrs. Phoenix 91, $5 super chat. Thank you. Oh man, I might have a couple of dollars in that, y'all. I can take my wife to the movies and afford popcorn. Listen, the movies is not the same like it used to be, y'all. It's a whole investment. All right. All right, so Anthony coming in, being his interviewing self. What does Zen life look like to you? So to me, Zen life, right? I'm seeing the problems before they happen and I'm avoiding them. I just want peace and tranquility. I don't want to be arguing with people. Like, I don't like arguing with my clients, but sometimes my clients want to be bullies, y'all. I'll tell them what I can do, what I can't do, right, per the law. And I'm like, well, I want you to do that. Well, we're not doing that. We can't do that. And so sometimes when we talk about Zen life, I'll give you your money back, depending upon how much work, how much effort, how much resources I put into a thing, right? Because I still have kids in college or daughter in college. I got grandbabies. They got things to do. So no, you can't steal my time. You can't steal from my children. You can't steal from me. But that's what Zen life looks like. All right. Okay, Alonzo. Oh, the all-star advisor. All right. I like that. Okay, JT Coins. I guess you're saying what's up to JT, or you're one of JT's guys. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Yes, me and JT. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get JT. He too busy for me, y'all. Listen, JT be over here, and I didn't realize JT got a whole following. JT technically has a whole business. When he's doing his thing, he does coins, he makes jewelry, he does all kinds of, he does all kind of stuff. And he teaches people how to do it. Actually, JT, I just saw you had that Greek coin, that turtle. I would love to have that. I would love to give that out. Because the path to wealth creation is not a fast one, right? You remember the whole story of the tortoise and the hare. So I love to be able to give those out at events and things like that. All right, so Alonzo Hall says, Financial, I just got a whole new level of respect for you because you're not pressuring your followers or super chats to means you. No. By the hood of my folks. Listen, I do this, and I swear to God, I'm not trying to be pretentious, y'all. But this is kind of like a ministry for me. I'm not the flashiest dude. I'm not the prettiest guy. I talk about this and I share my experiences because at one point in time, I really thought that Black folks' biggest problems was money. Then I did a little bit more study and I realized that this is way more complicated than just money. But since I've had these experiences, I've been blessed to be able to be mentored and have tutelage under a lot of Black-owned businesses. My father's being one, right? So Black-owned business has basically paved the way for me, where a lot of times you hear people talk crazy about Black-owned business. That's another story for another time. But I say, hey, I'm just here to share. And yes, I need to make money, y'all. Right. But This is something separate and aside. You know, everybody thinks preachers at these churches make money. They don't. Most preachers at churches have jobs. Now, if we all going to believe that all preachers work at mega churches, then that's another conversation. And then I think that's misinformed. They're not. But so I'm like them to a certain degree, right? I'm just trying to give what I can give. And I do believe that giving equals receiving to the 1,000th power. No matter what karmic deposits I make, they'll come back to me 1,000-fold. I truly believe there were times in my youth when me and my buddies did dumb things like drinking and driving that I couldn't be here, right? So I've been blessed. I've been blessed. I've been blessed. All right, so JT talked about how to get junk coins. Great episode. Okay, I didn't see that. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, listen. We need to do this broadcast, man. I got some questions for you. By the way, JT, I don't know if I got a chance to tell you this. I am super duper thankful for you for doing that Kwanzaa episode. Now I have my Kanara upstairs. I didn't even get a chance to light my Kanara this year. Kanara is the candle holder for Kwanzaa. I'm a big believer in Kwanzaa and the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. I think forget about the history and the creation of it, because I know everybody's like, but the creator, when you just look at the principles, right? When you look at the principles, they are truly powerful when practiced. They are truly powerful when practiced, y'all. So again, I appreciate everybody that joined tonight, hung out with me tonight. I'm usually here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I've been getting busy, y'all, so I missed this Wednesday. So that's why I'm here tonight. I want to kind of make up for it. But I'm usually here on the YouTube channel, The Finance Rebel. You can find me everywhere at The Finance Rebel. But every Wednesday, I'm usually here at 8 p.m. talking to you about money topics. We got a lot to talk about. Bitcoin's out. The IRS is, I talked about that on my IG page, right? But the IRS just said they got another $500 million in back tax enforcement. So there's a lot going on right now in the world of money that we all need to be up on. The Bitcoin one is really, really interesting. And listen, it looks like Donald Trump just lost a lawsuit. So that's interesting too, another money issue. But as always, I got some other great banger interviews coming with some people who are doing some fantastic things. So this new year, we're going to hit it. And by the way, my goal, didn't hit it last year, but that's okay. My goal is to hit 10,000 subs on YouTube. All right. I'll say by the end of the year this year, but I believe I'll get it way, way before that. All right. But listen, y'all, I appreciate you all being here. I truly, truly appreciate you all. Much gratitude. And I will see you soon. I'll probably be back before Wednesday. But let's say I'll be here on Wednesday. So let's make a date. I'll see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Have a good night, everybody. See y'all soon. Bye-bye.